Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nerds Hour.
Film Nerds Hour.
You are now listening to Nerds Hour. Amateur Hour. Allow me to show you something. Let's get to work.
Run it back!
Oh no, we're keep that in there. I've just played the theme before.
No, it's great. You just forgot the name of the show we've been doing for a year and a half?
No, because I did the exact same voice and did that other one with one of our themes for one of our pre-recorded ones from the future that people probably haven't heard yet.
Yeah. Did you fix... I know we had an issue on Spotify where the themes weren't put in. Did you fix that?
I think I have to go through and save them just to confirm them.
Yeah. Noah couldn't earlier, everybody, because he was very tired. He was very extremely tired. Buffalo Soldier. Anyway.
What the hell?
Well, no one knows what I'm implying.
Oh, that wasn't...
Pass it up. Yeah.
I think that would have been in somebody else who was on our show.
Oh, you didn't clean the spit trap. Now it's going to be covered in spit when he uses it.
Oh no, we ain't ASMRing this.
This fake weed joke is really winning over the kids. Ooh, reefer. Ha.
So we do have a guest on here for...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, first of all, he's Noah Sweeto.
And he's Nathaniel Shoemaker.
And our guest today, one of your friends.
Yes, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Logan Hammerswell, the awkward edgelord of the group.
We'll have a little more enthusiasm. Jesus, you're not awake. Hello, I am Logan.
I will rule the galaxy.
With my mighty fist and fury, I will make you be.
Aha, the Empire.
Ah, the French. All right.
So we're going to be reviewing the movie First Love, which I need to look up that director because he's done a whole bunch of other stuff as well.
They already know that that's what we're reviewing. It's in the thumbnail.
Either way.
God damn it.
Yay!
You never know. It could be the wrong episode.
Ow, the dude quit. Okay.
No, it's by... How do you pronounce his name?
Let me see the name.
Takashi Miike?
Takashi Miike? Let me look it up.
Takashi Miike?
I have it right in front of your face.
Oh.
No?
Takashi Miike sounds right. Yeah, Takashi Miike.
Yeah, which you got me a 2-film collection by him because he did the 2010 remake of 13 Assassins.
Remake? I didn't think it was a remake.
Yep, it is a remake, and then he did Itchy the Killer, Audition, Blade of the Immortal.
Yeah, it had yes.
Just name a few.
The thing I got you has 13 Assassins and Blade of the Immortal in it.
Yeah,
I think it's because he goes by a different name on some of his movies. Like he has a pseudonym. I think it's I don't know.
he might. But I know his probably two most infamous movies are probably going to be Itchy the Killer and Audition.
Yeah, well,
But in the order of Audition and Itchy the Killer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean that's what it says on Google. So anyway, he also did Dead or Alive.
Oh, okay.
Not the game, but...
Yeah, I know the movie.
Mm-hmm. And not the movie based on the game.
Is there a movie based on the game?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Go figure.
It's funny that it was called Dead or Alive, and the marketing was DOA, because it was it was Dead on Arrival, is what it was. This guy was like, I'm going to capture all of their fighting powers, and now that I wear these sunglasses, I can fight like them. You know, sunglasses. The thing easy to knock off someone's head. Anyways.
That's Hollywood for you. But, since this isn't coming from Hollywood, which a lot of these movies actually end up coming through a company called Will Go USA.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of essentially...
That's how they get distributed to us.
Yeah, they're like Mills Creek. So for those of you who do know Mills Creek, they do Ultraman and a lot of other releases and remasters onto Blu-ray and customize it for the American consumers. So,
Yep.
First Love is a Japanese film.
Yep. Going with our theme of international movies this month.
Yes, which last time we did a Korean movie, which is Parasite. If you guys haven't listened to that already, you should go back and do it because it's also a really great follow-up to it. The basic synopsis of it, just to kind of get you in there, because there is a lot of action.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a dark comedy action.
Yeah, it's like...
But I'd say it was more drama.
Well, I see the comedy, definitely, but it is more dark drama.
Yeah, I was a little confused as to why they were referring to it so much as
It's referred to as a crime action film. Well, there is...
Well, on Google, yeah.
And I, we all laughed at a bunch of parts.
Yeah, there was a few great parts in there, too, that were pretty funny.
Yeah.
But basically the synopsis of it is one night in Tokyo, a self-confident young boxer and a prostitute get caught up in a drug smuggling plot involving organized crime, corrupt cops, and a female assassin.
You know.
So,
just a normal day.
Who do want to give it a chance? Start by going to Amazon Prime Video. It's free on there for now, or it is free on Tubi with ads.
We all recommend it.
Yep, Tubi I would recommend. You get short ads if you don't have Amazon Prime, and they're pretty short. There's not a lot. And usually, for whatever movies you watch, you might get one ad, or you might get like three ad breaks out of the whole movie. And this is like an hour and 48 minutes. So. Yep. Otherwise, you guys can rent it on YouTube, Google Play, Movies and TV, or Vudu for $2.99. So for any of you movie buffs out there who do a lot of digital, that might be the way to go for you guys if you want to add something cool to your collection. But without further ado, let's get into it.
Yeah. Well, we didn't. A lot of the cast members are mainly unknowns to me anyway, because I think a lot of them work with Takashi Miike. Likes to keep the same kind of pool of talent and just kind of put them in all of his stuff.
Yeah, and I noticed that with a lot of directors. I mean, you kind of got that with Tarantino as well.
Oh, yeah. Tarantino uses, the same 7 guys in every movie.
Well, yeah, his is primarily, what is it? Samuel L. Jackson and Kurt Russell.
Those are the 2 big. And then, for a while, Pitt's kind of his new guy now, isn't he? Because, he was in Inglourious Bastards. But now,
I mean, that's also saying that if he makes more movies, too.
Yeah. Eli Roth was in Inglourious Bastards. I didn't even realize it until someone pointed out that that's who he is.
See, I haven't had the pleasure of seeing it yet, but I do own it, so it is on my list.
It's great. Anyways. So yeah, it starts off, we meet Leo. He's kind of he's the, I wouldn't say unwilling protagonist, but kind of he gets caught up in a...
He's your average ruled-in, unwilling character.
He's a young boxer. His parents abandoned him, so, they saved the cat pretty quickly in that respect. But he kind of just doesn't care. His coach points out that he doesn't seem excited when he wins fights, He just kind of sits there.
Yeah, which, makes you kind of think that he doesn't really know what he wants entirely.
Well, and he just kind of
He's going day to day.
Yeah, he's doing it to get by. He's not doing it for anyone, really.
Yeah, which is a very different narrative if you've kind of seen the Rocky movies.
Mm-hmm. He's doing it for Adrian and everybody else.
Yeah, which I think that's the important thing when it comes to sports and stuff, or any motivation of what you do. You're usually doing it for someone. Mm-hmm. And if it's not for yourself, it's usually someone else that you're achieving that goal for.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, he's a boxer. We also, our female protagonist, Yuri, or sometimes she's referred to as Monica, because that's her dating name, because she's a prostitute. That's a good...
I would say an unwilling prostitute.
Well, because her dad died, and he had a bunch of Yakuza debts, so she's paying it off by doing that. And she also buys drugs from them because she has PTSD because her dad was a creep. Granted, because of that, we get one of the scenes that made us all laugh the most later on in the subway, but we'll get there.
That was
so funny. Are you kidding me? It was so funny.
Yeah, that was something. That's what I have to say about it.
But she's living with these two people who kind of rent her out as for that, and they have a bunch of drugs in their house. So what ends up happening is this cop, he's a dirty cop, Automo, and Case, who works for the Yakuza, they hatch a plan of like, oh, okay, we're gonna get the girl to go on a, you bring her to a room, and then we're gonna have a guy like kill the guys in the house, his girlfriend, and send a threatening text, and then I'm gonna tase him and take the stuff, so then people think it was this other guy who did it, so no one will ever suspect that we had anything to do with it, and then we'll kill Yuri too, or Monica as they call her,
and then shit hits the fan.
Yeah, as it always does. Well, and we also have like there's a character who like he just recently came out of Yakuza prison. There's this whole dynamic between them and the Chinese gang that's there, including the one dude who just has one arm. He's like a big enforcer guy.
Which is kind of interesting to kind of have a character that was disabled a little bit.
Well, I liked it because you don't see it.
Well, also in that kind of life, you're telling me you're not going to have a little bit of maybe heavier battle scars.
Exactly. Like oh yeah, he was Wang, the one-armed man, and I think one of you giggled when they revealed his name as Wang. I'm not gonna say who. Anyway,
thank God it's not a show, right?
Yeah, but Leo finds out he has a tumor in the back of his head.
Yeah, which is for me was kind of that. Now I kind of want to say too, because this gave me the same vibe with the color schemes, because this came out in 2019, and I'm not saying anything was like inspired by it.
Sure.
But one of the things I really did like is that this, even though some of the like shootout scenes had a very big sense of like neon and like a dark colored noir type look to it, so it kind of almost reminded me of like that Deadpool moment when they tell me he has cancer.
Where just everything fades.
Yeah, where everything is like, oh wow, that's heavy. It kind of came out of nowhere for me, so I kind of didn't know how to feel about it. Plus, it was kind of at the beginning of the movie too.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, it was kind of like, okay, that is a plot point.
Well, it's interesting because it makes it's motivation for his character, because he starts living like he's going to die, which means when we get to the part where him and Yuri meet, he is a lot more helpful than he would have been otherwise.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, well, I have done absolutely nothing, and now I'm going to die, if possibly. So, yeah. Because where do they say?
A bunch of cops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
right.
he gets a fortune reading. The guy tells him that he's gonna soon start fighting for someone else besides himself, otherwise he won't get any fulfillment. And then he does reading for his health, and he's like, oh, you're perfectly healthy from head to toe. So he's like, bullshit. So he's walking down the street, and he sees Monica runs away from Otomo because she hallucinates her dad is chasing her, which we all agree freaking frightening.
Oh, it's frightening, especially because,
and I mean, all right, it's a dude in a sheet in nothing but his underwear.
Yeah, and it's not like boxers either. It's tighty whities, and I'm like, okay. He's wearing glasses though. That's a nice touch.
One of the creepiest elements of it too is also the fact that they the first way they introduce him with that is that he is sitting down at the end of the street and then starts sprinting towards.
No, that's not the first time. We see him in the house too. Lying down.
Yeah, because he's in the house and like the blanket or whatever sitting still on the floor.
Right. And that's the first time we actually see him without it on, though, isn't it?
Oh, without the sheet? Yeah. In the street is when we first see him without the sheet, I think. But then she also hallucinates her high school friend. But we'll explain why when that gets revealed later. But he starts chasing her, and he sees that she's running from him, so he just... I mean, there's punch someone, and then there's this. Like, we're talking one hit on the ground. Like, I'm surprised his head was still on his shoulders.
But did he really punch, or did he just kind of...
Clothesline him?
Yeah.
Both. Because the guy, it was a combination of forces. Because the guy was sprinting after her, trying to get her, and then he punched forward. So when both those things collide, the dude just smacked into the ground. And he just stood there like,
oops.
And then he sees a police badge, and he's like, well, shit.
Start living and doing some good, and fuck, it's a cop.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess this is how I'm supposed to fight for somewhat shit police officer. Yeah.
Which, how ironic is that? Just of all things, it's just like...
Of all the people you would punch, it's a cop.
Especially when you're trying to do goodwill.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean... It is really hard to not see a traditional cop and to literally see a woman or anybody running down the street screaming.
If I saw any woman screaming running from a guy who looked like middle-aged, I would instinctively punch.
Well, somebody, yeah, because it's a little weird.
Mm-hmm. Not everything clicks, you know? Let's ignore that hand movement. All right. So he's like... He takes her to, like, this area at the end of the street, and he's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah. And then she starts walking without him, and he's like, no, I should probably go with you. So is it then that they, like, take the train? I think. It's interesting because all the things are happening at the same time in parts.
I think it is, but I don't quote me on that.
Well, because also at the same time that all this is happening... Case goes to the one place to tase the guy, but when he goes to tase him, the doorknob is in the way, so he doesn't even do it. And then the guy takes his mask off and sees that it's a coworker of his, so then he pulls out a knife and like tries to stab him. Then the guy tases him while he's holding a gun, so he accidentally shoots, and then he's just like, well, and shoots him and kills him. So it's just like everything's going wrong horribly fast.
And then there's the whole scene with the dude who's kidnapping the guy's wife.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the creepy guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Who we were all like, because he, like, he gets her phone and texts him, I will kill her, or something like that, for Monica. And then, like, he makes the girl take her bottoms off, and then she, like, reaches down, and there's some on her finger, and he, like, reaches over to, like, do something. It's some very kinky things. But then she, like, takes the opportunity to, like, kick the crap out of him. It was very smart on her part. Of, like, this guy's weak.
There's a few smart moments throughout that film.
She was a very smart character. She survived a lot longer than I thought she would.
Yeah, which was pretty interesting, in fairness. I kind of like that, though. That it was more of a lure instead of a... Instead of just her being the helpless female character, she actually was like, I can take care of myself.
Well, I like a movie where multiple parts are happening. You know, it's not just the chased and the chasers. You know, it's like, it's them, it's the Yakuza, it's the cop and the other guy who are trying to do this scheme, it's the girl, like, it's all these moving pieces. And I like that.
Yeah. And, I mean, it is a Takashi Miike film, so you usually...
Hyper-violence
I think
is very...
I think, isn't Tarantino
Tarantino loves him, Tarantino? Yes.
That was his inspiration. He became the American Takashi Miike, basically.
Takashi Miike, yeah.
Takashi Miike. Because he was also in one of his movies as Ringo, and that... what is it? Sukiyaki Western Django.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I would have known that title off the top of my head.
There was a steelbook at a half-price books for $2, and I was kind of like, I kind of want to get on Blu-ray.
# not sponsored by Half Price Book. But in any case, they go to take the train because she's like, oh, I want to see my... Can you take me to see my high school friend? Maybe he could help me. Because we find out he punched her dad when he was, like, trying to hit her or something like that. So he's like, all right, we'll go and see him. And they're on a train, and she starts hallucinating again. So he has her listen to music to distract her. And this is our favorite scene because her dad goes from like, I'm going to chase you to he takes his sheet off and starts dancing and is like, in the train. And we're all just like, what is this film? What's going on?
Well, at first I thought it was going to get a bit wackier than that. And that was my worst fear because I was like, oh, God.
It does get a bit wackier later on. But that was a point where we were like, oh, right, this isn't a normal movie. This is a Takashi Miike movie.
Right, well...
Director X, that's the other pseudonym he goes by.
Well, I mean, at least it wasn't Happiness of the Katakouris.
Yeah, oh, well, that you think that's weird, and it's not... I've shown you House. I don't know how you still think Happiness of the Katakouris is weirder than House.
I didn't say it was weirder than House, I just said it's pretty weird.
Okay, so you agree House is weirder?
No shit. I mean, it's the thing that inspired that, so...
Have you seen House?
No, I haven't.
One day we'll subject you to that torture.
Yes, I need to see a new person see it so I can just watch them react to the hilariousness.
If that's the case, we end up doing a podcast after that. We should probably do it early in the day so it's not like midnight.
Well, see, that's the thing is like you're not used to like we record till like the audience doesn't know this. We record till like 5 in the morning because we're both night owl pieces of shit.
We are insomniacs.
Yeah.
Plus, there's nothing open.
It hinders our guests a little bit.
So we usually get up earlier, but
is that English? All right, whatever. So they.
I don't have to English. I'm not paid to English.
She sees her dad on the train. She starts laughing and crying at the same time, and
which is a very odd sight. So kudos to the actor because it was very. I didn't even know how to feel about it. It's kind of like watching Pedro Pascal for that meme and then kind of also being like, oh, wait, but that doesn't... Okay.
But then the one girlfriend goes back to her, to the main house and sees that her boyfriend is dead. And Case is there when she calls from her boyfriend's phone. And he starts taking the role of like, we gotta find the guys who did this, even though he did this. And it's like... Yeah, of course, because if you're the most gung-ho about catching them, it's going to make you seem like the least likely subject, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they're like, oh, it was definitely the Chinese, so it's like, they go back there, and he's like, oh, I'll take you to this, does he say he's going to take her to the safe house or something like that?
Yeah.
Or back to her apartment. Something.
No, I think it's back to her place, but
yeah, back to her place because the whole thing with the roommate or the old lady or whatever's going on there.
But as he's taking her, he gets a call from the guy who's like, "Oh, we gotta we can find her because her phone is being tracked." So then he brings up that she's tracking the phone, and he's like, "Let me see the phone." And she's like, "Oh no, I got it. I'll find her. Trust me." And then he starts hitting on the brakes a bunch to make her head hit the dash.
Which was like, oh, right.
Because this is like a classic mafia movie. This reminds me... His actions in this movie remind me of characters in like Sons of Anarchy or Sopranos, where it's like, all the problems could be solved if you just took a second to breathe and think. Like, I don't think he would have had the outcome at the end of this movie that he did if he just took a second to think of the situation.
And considering the end of the movie where he ends up,
exactly, like,
would have been...
But he doesn't want mediating, he wants ass kicking.
Yeah, I guess. Well, he wants to prove himself more. And because he thinks he's a lot better than he actually is. And he like takes her to he's like, oh, I'll take her to her apartment and I'll tie her up with duct tape. And then her grandma's there. And she's like, what are you doing? And he goes, are you a roommate? And she's like, there's a robber. And then he punches her so hard he kills her. And then he's like, well, shit. But
all right, fuck it. Let's light the place on fire.
Yeah, he sees some matches and he sees a little, like, you guys know that dog bark toy, everybody? Who, second you walk down the toilet aisle, it's down, it's just like, rat, 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 flip, rat, 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 rat. Yeah, that toy. And... Oh, that was the worst of working retail. It was like, can you stock toys? And then you stock the like sensor toys, so it's just like a wall of babies that see you and go hi all at the same time, and you're like Satan. But anyway,
Yeah, I don't do dolls.
no. Thanks, Annabelle, for making our generation afraid of porcelain dolls.
I was already freaked out by him to begin with, but that did not help.
That's fair. In any case, yeah, he sets it up so the whole place catches on fire. She wakes up and jumps out of the window.
And then it's just fine.
I don't know. Because she landed on concrete and she's still not wearing pants. And I'm just like, you should be careful.
Superhero landing. It's really hard on their knees.
It's really impractical. Yeah, I'll do it. You're a lovely lady. Okay. But she's like, I'm gonna kill him! Like...
And that's pretty much the point where she starts going, like, psycho.
She's awesome, though. I really like her character, because every time she's on screen, I'm like, ooh, there's gonna be yelling, and someone's gonna get the shit kicked out of them.
And then there's a crowbar.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that's later, though. But, yeah, they end up, like... Leo starts taking Yuri to her friend's place, but she's like, it's too late now, and he's like, well, I can take you to your dad's old house so you can make sure he's not there, because the whole thing is there is a question of whether or not her dad is dead, and then they go to his old house and they find no one there. So yeah, but that's when, because Case took the drug, Case is the younger mafia guy. He took the drugs and hid him in a locker. So he goes to the locker to check, and somebody meets him there and, like, holds him at gunpoint, but then he tases him. And I literally predicted what happened. I was like, good, there's a car right there. Drive away in that car, but first put his head under the... And as I'm saying that, he's putting his head in front of the tire. And I was like, yeah! He's like, he can hear me.
It's like, oh, good, you're not a complete
idiot. Yeah.
Which I have to say, they had some of the best death scenes in here in choreography.
It's true.
And it's so nice that they super deliver.
No one dies in a nice way in this movie. Like, no one gets poisoned and goes into his sleep.
Now,
like, everyone's either shot to crap or limbs cut. Like,
not to assume just due to culture, but it seems like Japan...
Here we go.
It seems like with Japan and Korea... They are very... When they make a violent action movie...
They make a violent movie.
Because there's a game that takes place in China called Sleeping Dogs. It's open world. It's like basically the Asian GTA, as some people call it.
Yeah, I could see that. With what you've shown me of it, I could see that. I played a demo before.
You brutalize people.
Oh, yeah.
You slam people into phone booths and smack the shit out of them with...
Isn't one like you throw them into a phone booth and just kick them a bunch?
Yeah, you throw them in there and then you kick them square in the chest where their heart is. And then...
What was that angle? Square in the chest where their heart is, points to spleen. You shouldn't be a doctor. You shouldn't be a doctor. Wrong area as well, like wrong direction.
Oh...
I really hope you become a doctor now. Doctor, you don't know how to perform this surgery. It'll be fine. You cut shit. Let's do it.
Well, the worst of that game, too, came from the two really bad attacks. One of them, do you know those gates that they have in malls?
Yeah, like with the nail, like the top of it's pointy.
Yeah, well, you throw people onto there, hop up, and slam it down on them. You take a door slam so you can take people and put them in a door and slam them.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, and then you kick it closed.
Jeez.
And then one of the other ones that you can do is you push people's face into a table saw.
Sounds like some... It sounds like some Raid stuff.
It is the Raid.
Yeah.
Like, it is the Raid meets a Mike movie.
Have you seen the Raid?
No.
The Raid is awesome.
There's a lot of movies that the two of you have seen that I have not.
That's fair. We do this for
free to
hopefully
watch them with us in our free time sometime because it's like,
it's just good stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one. I can't wait because I think we'll be watching when we do the review for that. We'll be watching in a 4K TV.
Wow.
with surround sound. So
this is the grossest disc. Like, I'm sorry to like not include anyone in the.
I didn't even look at them when I finally found them.
It looks like someone used it for a tissue.
Those were given to me, so
for free. Thank God. But anyways.
But yeah, it feels like whenever they go to make a brutal movie that's satisfying, and you know that is something that people constantly, you know, criticize Tarantino about.
Yeah. About being brutal, which I'm like, compared to some of these movies, he is tame.
the Asian culture with their movies, horror, everything.
They just do it better.
They just do it better. Well, because they know how bad it can be, because they're not afraid to show it. It's like, this is the world, this is what it is. Where France does that more with their sex positive culture.
Well, they've been like, as far as like our current quote unquote America, they've been doing storytelling a lot longer than we have. Because as far as established countries, we're relatively new compared to everyone else.
Well, I think it's also they've come to an understanding that they shouldn't shy away from history either.
No, yeah, and we do a lot. Yeah.
Depicting what really happens in history and the brutality of life, which is reflected in a lot of films. And I feel like, you know, Tarantino does it a little goofy sometimes. Like, I'm sorry, I can't take Kill Bill seriously.
What? Why?
Completely seriously.
It's a masterpiece.
When people get spliced, or when they get
sliced,
when they get their heads sliced off and stuff, and there's a literal fountain.
My favorite is the Kill Bill like theme. The
it does have a unique theme,
which makes it feel like it's a western.
It will remind me of a western, but also remind me of like a 70s grindhouse.
Yeah, I love those.
So
yeah, I think the only Tarantino movie I've seen is Pulp Fiction, and that would be thanks to my mother.
Oh,
I'd still say that's a good start off point, because that was one of his first ones, wasn't it? That he directed?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely one of his first was a movie called Happy Birthday, which no one's heard of because, you know, it's his first movie.
Well, it's probably whatever it's on. It's probably super expensive now to get. But yeah, so continuing on from there, where did we leave off?
Yeah. I just wanted to show you.
Head beneath the car.
Yeah, he drove over the car. And then, that's when they, like... Remind me again. Because, again, the plot kind of jumps around from character to character. Do they go to the, well, yeah, that's right. So the girl goes to the Yakuza and tells him it's all Case. He's the one doing it all. Like, he killed her boyfriend, he took the drugs, all that stuff. Which, that's how the one guy knew that he took the drugs, which is how he died. So then everyone starts looking for them, and they get some other people in to find him too, of like these specialists. Like, there's the guy with the sword and the sunglasses, and then the girl who was at the restaurant the main character works at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody's looking for all them and Monica too. But then don't Monica and them get, or Yuri, don't Yuri and him get found by Case and the cop?
I think
that's when that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, because when they're at her
dad's house,
when they're
because she has the tracker and they finally caught up with her.
Yeah, and then they get cornered in that area.
And they put him in a van. They have the guy drive while the policeman is sitting next to him, and then Yuri's in the back with Case, and they're interrogating him like, "What? Who are you? What kind of investment do you have?" And he's like, "I'm just a guy who hit you, man." And they don't believe him. They think he's definitely like he's like a member of a Chinese gang or someone deep undercover in the Yakuza, and he's like, "No, I'm just a guy." And that even makes them more pissed when they find out that that's true. It's like, just a guy on the street screwed it all up for them. That's all it was. Like,
well, I kind of love that element
Me too.
Because there's a way to do it, and I don't think movies do it as well as they could.
Not as well as this one.
because it's much different to have the guy. And here's the thing. When you make your character, they shouldn't be the person on the street who now knows everything and is now a complete badass all the time.
Right, exactly.
They really need to just be there as an unwilling. Because to really make a protagonist that's unwilling to be there, or, you know, just unknowingly getting themselves into a situation, they're not always going to be the Bruce Willis diehard character hero of always willing. They're not going to be
like,
John McClane.
and I'm also a cop, you know, like...
Right, so if you're going to make your average Joe, you need to make it so, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's
a
boxer, but it's not like... like, when he... Later on in the movie, when he picks up a gun for the first time, he's like, this is the first time I've ever touched a gun.
And he immediately kills somebody when he does that.
Because he gets, like, the itchy trigger finger, which we all get. Like, duh.
Yeah, I mean, and see, that's one of the other things I like.
Sorry, he kills that guy before Case and them.
Yeah, because
that's one of the Yakuza guys.
I mean, that's one of the things I actually like, because anybody could train with a gun and just go shooting for fun. Mm-hmm. So it's more realistic when that happens, opposed to somebody... Where some of these movies, they start them off as like John Wick level, and it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, unless you've shot a gun before, you're not gonna get that dead-eye shot with moving targets.
Exactly.
You have to start at ground zero first.
Mm-hmm. But then we get the cool car chase scene and the shootout in the parking garage. But first they get stopped by like the Yakuza. Like, they have a bunch of cars in front of them, and then the girl comes out with the crowbar. And like just smashes the window.
Yeah, no, that scene is where I think everyone realized that woman was fucking crazy.
Oh, she was screaming this whole movie. She was freaking nuts. When she just gave off the vibe of I don't give a fuck. Because when Yuri was having a breakdown earlier when we first meet them, she like drop kicks her in the stomach and is like, "Whore, shut up." And I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, she could give two damns about humanity.
Seriously. But yeah, she like breaks the window, and like then Case gets shot while he has like some drugs in his pocket, so that causes like it like goes through the drugs and hits him, so he starts rubbing his chest, and it's like making himself high, and then like some of the drugs gets on his crotch, and the girl, because she wants the drugs, starts going near the area, and as hesitant as I am to say that. And he was like, and Leo's like, just stop that.
You don't need drugs that badly.
No, because that's the thing, is like, even though he's been with her for, I think in the duration of this movie, he's with her for like, it can't be more than 12 hours, even.
Yeah.
But he genuinely cares about her, or he at least like sympathizes with her. Like, oh yeah, I've had shit parents. Like, I get it.
Unlike some unfortunate movies that we will not discuss.
No, yeah. I think I know what you're referencing.
Yeah. You know, I like the, you know, and it's kind of nice because he's actually got some really good character development with every character that they did have. Mm-hmm. And it made you actually really, really care about the characters that they did have and what they were doing. And,
yeah.
You know, and that's something that is kind of rare with movies now. They kind of rush it along. They do build characters, but they don't build characters. It doesn't feel as natural when a bunch of people are meeting.
Right.
And then that's kind of something I do miss in a lot of these movies, where it's kind of nice to have people thrown into action. It doesn't always have to be about them always loving the person as much as it's just about them protecting them, and they so happen to end up developing feelings.
Exactly.
Which I kind of like, that this wasn't really a romance story. It was a rescue mission.
Yeah, it's called First Love, but that's not like
and
what it's about.
The definition of first love, I don't even think is...
It reminded me a bit of like... Because they were just on the run and just committed to being on the run. It reminded me of The Night Comes for Us a lot, which is a Taiwanese action film, but it has a similar premise. Just switch the boxer who knows nothing to a guy who's like paid by the mob to just kill people by himself. Like, he's a lone wolf and he gets paid to exterminate whole villages. And switch the drug-addicted prostitute with a little girl who he feels sympathy for.
Right. Which, This
great
comes
movie.
from Urban Dictionary for the first love definition.
Oh.
I like Urban Dictionary the most because it just gives every history aspect on it.
Right.
First love is the first person you want to be with. You can talk to them any time of the day / night regardless. First love is the person who you first see a future with and want to last. The person who you first feel a fast connection. The first one of the hardest heartbreaks. Many believe first love also happens to be their last. You'll always have a place
in your heart for them, yeah.
For them because they're the first person who cared, you even cared for, or cared for even. First love can happen in any age or anywhere, even if you've never met a person. Even if you never meet a person, love is love.
Yeah, and I think that's the emphasis of it is like, oh, he's never loved anyone before, so this is the first person he's cared about. Because honestly, no one's cared about him up until this point, you know? But yeah, so they end up like driving away while getting shot at. Police get involved too, and it's a good like parking lot shootout chase scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was actually one of the things I liked.
Their stunt drivers are fantastic.
Yeah. Well, also,
Or you had an exciting thought and then it just was gone.
well, I'm thinking, Baby
Driver.
Yeah. What was our main protagonist's name again? Why am I drawing it?
Baby.
No.
Are you
in
talking
this
about
movie.
his real? Oh, in this movie, Leo.
Yeah, Leo has kind of a costume design with his sweatshirt that kind of makes him look like Baby. from
And the
Baby
red
Driver.
jacket.
Yeah.
I could see that a little bit.
It kind of had that hipster vibe of, kick back. It didn't scream. It screamed the person that you would see on the street.
Well, and here's the thing, though. I love that movie, but I love that movie a lot. But I cared a lot more in that movie about Baby and Deborah than I do in this movie, honestly. And that's not a bad thing, because I do care about them still, just not as much. And I think that's just because I love that movie so much. You know?
Yeah. I felt a lot of similarities between this and Baby Driver, which is kind of nice. Some familiarities that brought it.
It's definitely similar to the last third of Baby Driver.
Yeah, a lot of the action sequences is what kind of did it for me. And I kind of like that because I really liked Baby Driver. The action was very well done in there. The car scenes were all done. And this kind of had the best of both worlds, both with some car chases and some fun action sequences and a lot of movement, and it did it very well.
And my favorite bit is at the end when they all go into, like, the hardware store, I think it is. And they're all just, like, killing each other one after the other, after the other, after the other.
It was like watching Equalizer.
So it reminded
a bunch of people who were of equal power.
It reminded me of the scene in American Ultra, but you haven't seen that. Have you seen that?
Are you talking about the opening scene?
No, the scene in the end in the supermarket.
Oh, then no.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie?
No.
It's Jesse Eisenberg. It's a really good movie.
And Kristen Stewart?
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's a movie I point to when people are like, Kristen Stewart's a bad actress. No, the Twilight movies were written bad.
Or Underwater. Wow, I love her in Underwater.
Oh, yeah.
She did amazing in Underwater.
Mm-hmm.
So glad I got to see that in theaters. I miss those kind of monster movies, just going to see them.
Yeah. But in any case, yeah,
was the special effects scene before or after the hardware store fight?
Oh, in here? This was after.
Okay.
Yeah. We get a bit of a special effects scene when their car flips, but not much.
Mm.
But yeah, we're talking, there's the one-armed man guy, and he somehow is using a shotgun. Like, he shoots the guy, catches it, cocks it back, shoots.
Yeah, which was
very cool.
Ass as hell.
Yeah. I feel like they kind of did, there was it was a Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie that he did early on when the casting still had him as The Rock. But his thing was like he didn't do guns. But in that movie, he like realized that he had to use guns or whatever. So he had 2 shotguns, and he was like...
Was it faster?
No, not faster. He was catching them and cocking the shotguns. Sean William Scott is his sidekick in that movie. He was catching both shotguns, cocking them, like cocking them back on things. Like, he would shoot someone, have it on a door, and then shoot. And I'm like, this is unrealistic, but it's entertaining.
Trying to look the Rundown.
Yes, The Rundown. Yes. Because he used to be a cop, but then something happened, so he became a bounty hunter, and he's bounty hunting Sean William Scott, and they get involved in another thing.
You know, one of my favorite ones that he did where he was using guns. Fate of the Furious.
Oh, for God's sake!
No, that was awesome. The
Lady, I am the cavalry. Yeah.
No, not that.
Oh, that's one
Fate
after that.
of the Furious.
Okay, calm down. You didn't write the movie.
Prison Break.
Oh yeah, he didn't use guns.
Yeah, he did. He used temporarily.
Oh.
He used that beanbag shotgun.
Oh yeah. Rubber bullets. Big mistake. I've been dreaming of this moment. Keep dreaming, bitch.
I've been waiting a long time for this.
Keep
waiting, bitch. Kicks him back.
Jeez.
I love how he went to stab him and literally just instinctively he just grabbed his hand, shoved it right back in.
Yeah.
Shoved it right into his chest.
The most unrealistic. I don't know what was more unrealistic about that scene. That before, when he was in his cell, when he was punching the cinder block wall over and over and over again, or when he took the chair, yanked it out of the wall, and started bench pressing with it. I got plenty of go. And I was like, you need to see someone about this. This is unhealthy. Like,
and then with the best line after that, I will beat your ass like a Cherokee drum.
And I was like, all right.
He's Samoan, right?
Yes.
So I guess he can get away with it. Mm-hmm. And he's the Rock.
That's why him and his soccer team his daughter's soccer team that he coaches before this, they do ooh shaka ooh, and then they're like ah.
Yeah, which was kind of nice. I love anything The Rock is in when it involves culture and fun.
And he's like, my team needs to win, otherwise it's going to. I'm talking trips to the mall. I'm talking frozen yogurt. I'm talking Tay-Tay concerts. Tay-Tay? Taylor Swift, man. Jesus Christ. I was like, calm. And he goes, if you don't stop asking me, I will kick you right in the Tay-Tay.
I'm sorry. And I know
it's
Vin
cheesy.
Diesel.
Those movies are cheesy as hell, but it's
people need to respect it, though, because that's what makes them so great. They're...
Okay, then we need to acknowledge their unrealistic films. Can we all do that? Because my brother, I won't say his name, but he hates Marvel movies because they're unrealistic. But he loves Fast and the Furious.
Fast and the Furious is not a realistic movie.
Movies, those are fucking superheroes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Even a masterpiece like Baby Driver isn't realistic.
No, it's not. But it's a movie. That's not the point.
And honestly, Marvel is probably more realistic than Fast and the Furious in terms of the science behind it.
If I want to watch a realistic movie, you know what I'll do? I'll watch a documentary. Okay?
Right. Which... Same thing with these, the even First Love.
Yeah.
As much of an awesome thing as it would be, there's about probably 5% of this film that would actually happen in action sequences in real life.
No, well, some of this I see is more because when the guy's high and he's getting shot and he's like, I didn't even feel it. That's true. You wouldn't feel it if you were high enough, depending on what kind.
Or drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Because your brain is just like...
And then his arm gets cut
off.
he
gets his arm cut off, and he's like, okay, I felt that a little bit. And then he's, fighting with his hand that had the gun in it. He's like, come on, asshole, give me back my gun. Jesus. And then he gets his head chopped off. And...
Yeah, when he loses his arm, I think he says something along the lines of...
That kind of hurt.
That was bad.
That was bad.
That was badass.
Mm-hmm. That happens...
Badassly awesome.
That happens in the show Justified. A guy gets his whole arm cut off, and he's so high, he looks at his stump and then reaches for his other arm before he falls over and dies.
That was one of the things with Vikings.
Yeah.
I don't think they even got high. They were just
so adrenaline fueled.
They would get themselves to such a phase where it was like you could cut them off, and they just do a Monty Python.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be bouncing. They probably would be bouncing around because they just fucking
simply a flesh wound. Yeah.
And it's like, imagine how freaky that is.
I'm invincible. You're a loony.
Well, yeah, except for the part where, imagine that though. Imagine 5 people.
I'll bite your legs off.
Where you literally just cut their arms off and they still are coming at you.
Yeah.
That's just horrifying to think about with one person, let alone an entire team of possibly... okay, you're all barbaric, but there might be like, I don't know, maybe 9 of you out of the 50 plus group that are berserkers that I would never know about.
Yeah.
And probably like 5 more who just haven't, got that adrenaline yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are there any good Viking movies? That's a little off topic, but...
Yes. I can think of one that I actually really enjoyed.
I
think it's called, Highland? No, not Highlanders,
a fantasy.
Yeah. No, it's got...
You're thinking of The First King?
No. That's not a Viking movie. It's got,
Oh, that's medieval, isn't it?
Who's the guy who plays Bones in the newer Star Trek movies?
Bones?
Yeah, the Doctor. He's very tired. The J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, the Doctor.
Oh, that is a good question, because I don't even know that offhand.
Yeah, I can find it. Let me see. Carl Urban.
Oh, right.
He's in a Viking... I say it's a Viking movie.
If you had said McCoy, I would have remembered.
No. He was in... What was it called? Pathfinder. I really liked Pathfinder. It has 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe I liked it back when I was younger. Do you know what Pathfinder's about?
It's on HBO Max as well.
So it's based on true historical facts that before Americans came... before Christopher Columbus, quote-unquote, discovered America, Vikings raided it a lot. And it's about a guy who was a Viking, but he got left behind, so he got trained by the Native Americans. And then the Vikings come back, and he kills a bunch of them. It's really cool. He is out. He is done. Here, yeah.
Yeah, I usually don't stay up this way.
It's okay. We're almost done. Are you going to be okay to drive home?
I don't drive. I walked here.
You walked here?
Oh, we'll give you a ride.
Yeah,
It's no
yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, no, we'll give you a ride. Opting out. No. But yeah, so... Yeah, Case gets shot to shit, arm cut off, and head cut off. And then the girl who cuts his head off, she gets shot in the back of the head. A bunch of other people get shot.
Basically, everybody dies except for the main two.
Yeah, Leo, he's let go by the one girl because he finds out, he listens to his messages while they're hiding out. He finds out he didn't have a tumor. They mixed up the x-rays, which happens all the dang time.
Which shouldn't happen because
it should never happen, but it happens more often than you would think.
That's what happened with John Kramer.
Yep, that's what happened with John Kramer. That's what happened with the Queen Latifah's character in, I can't remember that movie, The Holiday. Like, it happens way more often than it should. Which is
in real life. We're not just talking
in real
about
life,
movies.
yeah, it happens.
Which I'm like, you guys are not supposed to figure out what you're doing.
But then he starts realizing, oh, right, I'm actually supposed to... He's like, I'm actually gonna live. So the guy who told my fortune was right. So when he points a gun at someone who's pointing a gun at Yuri, his hand's shaking. Because now he actually has a life that he could lose. But then the woman ends up letting him and her go. Because she's like, the best part of people is their humanity. Or something like that.
The best virtue of life is
humanity. Yeah, thank you. So he lets them go, but a guy stops them, and he boxes him, even though the guy is using kicks. And I'm like, well, that seems like cheating, but
well, and that's after Yuri kicks him in the balls.
Yeah, because he's holding her hostage, and then she imagines that he's her father, so she fights back, which is another big character thing, and he beats the crap out of it. Like, it's really bad. But then the one-armed guy and the guy who was recently released from prison, they start, like, fighting with a machete and a sword, and they both get cut to shit. The one-armed guy dies, but the other guy is mortally wounded. And then the cops are outside, and the one guy who is a cop is like, oh, I'll tell him I was deep undercover. Hey, and then he gets shot in the arm and shoots back at the girl, and he's not paying attention, shoots at the window, open fire! Dead.
Well, the funny thing is that she yells, you're a crooked cop.
Yeah.
After she shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
So then all the other cops are also sitting there like,
No, I don't think they heard that over the gunfire. What made him shoot back was that he accidentally shot out a window. Yeah. And they're all like, shoot! And just...
Which, spoiler alert for a game, gave me Red Dead Redemption vibes.
Yeah, the first one. Not the ending, but the almost ending. But yeah, she died. The only people who are left are Leo and Yuri and the guy who was from prison who was like, can you drive? Great, get me out of here. So then they do a jump and it gets animated. And I actually really liked that. Like, as an answer to, like, we want to do a cool car jump, but we can't special effects do it, let's have somebody draw it. I'm like,
personally, I thought it was...
Not for you? Or...
I thought it didn't quite fit the rest of the movie as well.
Yeah, it maybe would have been better if, like, maybe they took some of the special effects and did it like that.
See, now, the reason I think it was out of place, too, as cool as it was, is because you look at something like Mandy that did it very well and utilized it constantly. But if you look at the trailer for First Love, they used it a lot in the trailer.
Yeah, and they only used it one time for a, like, less than a minute long sequence.
Yeah, which is like, you guys could have done it so much more.
Exactly, but then he's driving him and he's like, oh, is your name Leo? Yeah. Oh, I saw you box. And he's like, I could make you my third since everyone I work with is dead. I could make you you could be the third man in charge. And he's like, no, I'm a boxer. I'm a simple man. He's like, I can respect that. Get out.
And then he also points that if you want to be a boxer, you probably shouldn't be driving a Yakuza car.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, get out.
Dump out the drugs with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
which I believe they specify as meth.
Oh, okay, they did? They did, you're right.
Yeah, they did.
To which I'm like, he was shoving meth in bullet wounds? That can't be great. Like, that wouldn't make him be like, that'd be making him more like, I'm depressed. But... yeah, they make it like a smoke screen, and then they get out, and he drives away. And while he's driving on this turnpike, he dies. And you pointed out there's over 100 cops chasing him. How many of them do they need?
I've seen less cops in GTA with 5 stars.
It's just like cop. I would have loved to have been the director's like, okay, we only got 5 cop cars. Well, let's just loop this section of footage forever and
like
ever.
Literally, I swear to God, there are literally like at least 65 cars in that shot.
And I would love to see the part where they go up to him and realize that he's dead. Like, oh God, he's already dead. I want to see that, and I want to see the people coming into the hardware store. Well, all right, 6 a.m, time to go. What the fuck? There's dead people everywhere.
All right, fuck it, I quit.
Yes, here I ain't cleaning this up.
Well, all the
That's
people,
so many diseases.
This is what I get for taking a vacation.
Well, also all the
Stupid
people that they're gonna realize too, like 2 people had to have dumped that coke out the window.
Yeah.
So where's
the other people? Well, they probably will realize that after they get to him. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm surprised he stayed on the road that long instead of not just crashing into the ocean.
Sincerely, because it's like a single strip of road across the ocean.
This is some Sal Marcano casino shit from Mafia 3.
Seriously. And you actually said, what is this, the end of Mafia 2?
Oh, I said the end of Mafia 3, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did. But
it's Mafia 3.
But then Yuri goes, they like go to a shower place and they're washing all the blood off of their clothes and they're like, we made some orgasm jokes. And then...
it did sound that way.
It really did. And then they like start walking across the street, a train stops them, and then... when the train moves, she sees her high school friend, and he's got a wife. She's pregnant now. They talk for a second, and it's like, oh, that's sweet. And she's like happy that he has such a good life, and he was happy to see her, and she congratulated. And then they leave, and then the next thing we see is the beginning scene, which is what we saw earlier, which is Leo training. He's training a lot harder though, and we also see Yuri in Detox. She's in Detox, I think, because I think she was in rehab, trying to get better because that looked like a detox room.
And she 100%. was you would expect anybody in Detox to be.
Yeah, but he's training harder. He fights, and when he wins the match, he like actually cheers and is happy because he's fighting for her. And then the last thing we see is from a distance them both entering an apartment together.
And
like, aw, that's a relationship that might be doomed to fail. Who knows?
Well,
right. And that scene, we were all thinking, oh yeah, they're finally doing it.
Yeah, these guys are.
Except the credit song was like, that's some bad sex then.
Yeah, but okay. So here's my thing. Number one, it probably happened off street. Well, that's right. She went to rehab, so that they probably did a health check while she was in detox, so they know if she has like any diseases from her prostitution work. But here's my thing, and it bums me out. I don't know if their relationship is going to last, because a relationship built off of I love this man because he saved my life isn't going to have that same spark all the time.
See, but here's the thing. I like it that they purposely left it open-ended. They really never confirmed if they were in a relationship or not.
Yeah, they could be just roommates.
So they could be just two close friends.
Roommates. Yeah, exactly. Because
we were roommates.
Because of course you're gonna love someone who saved your life, but that's not a good foundation for a relationship. Because eventually you're gonna stop thinking, "Wow, this person saved my life. I love them so much," and you're gonna start thinking, why doesn't this motherfucker do the dishes? You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's gonna be kind of like the whole George Lopez episode about the mural.
Exactly.
But I made the mural. Mm-hmm. And also, we're gonna say it once again. Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, perfect example.
Here we go. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What it is?
No, just go ahead. Of what? Perfect example of what?
Oh, love not existing after just a very shitty situation.
I agree. Because Bill Murray and her aren't together.
Yeah, and Sigourney Weaver's character, they just kind of are like, yeah, we like each other, and then realize they weren't compatible.
That's movies, though, man. Because that's the same thing they did with Jurassic World and the sequel to Jurassic World. It's like, oh, they're not together. Oh, they're together. Oh, they're not together. Oh, they're together. You know what's going to happen in their third one? I'm calling it right now because it happens with every third movie and a couple. It's going to open with an impromptu wedding on a beach or some shit. Okay? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
It did it. We did see the opening. Remember? Exclusively?
No, because I didn't go and see Fast in IMAX.
Isn't the third Despicable Me movie or whatever when Gru and Lucy got married?
I think so, yeah.
They got married at the end of 2.
Yes, that's right.
Which is like, okay.
Again, interesting relationship. But,
solar opposites.
Loved First Love, though. I loved First Love. What'd you guys think?
I really appreciated it.
Are you an international film guy at all, or nah?
The only other international film I've watched, I don't know the name of it.
Well, that helps.
I have it on disc at my house.
It's got a giant lizard, and it's using atomic breath to destroy a city, and they call him God something Zilla.
No, Isle of Dogs. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, I love Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs isn't. It's a Wes Anderson movie. It's not really a foreign film because he speaks Japanese.
The other one I have.
International. Sorry. I need to reprogram my brain. International. You're correct. It's not though, because the kid speaks Japanese, and there's no subtitles for it. But the dogs speak English, so we understand them. So it's a thing of somebody. I was talking with somebody about this because I saw that movie and it's a great movie. It's on Disney Plus, guys. Isle of Dogs. Wes Anderson. Check it out. Stop motion. Fantastic. Somebody was pointing out because they were like, oh, they should just swap the languages if the movie was shown in Japan. But I'm like, that wouldn't work because most people in Japan know English, unlike people in America not knowing Japanese. So me and my friend both agreed, if they released it in Japan, they should have the dogs be speaking Japanese and the humans should be speaking French. Because I don't know statistically, I don't think a lot of people in Japan know French.
Not a lot of people in America really know French.
Well, yeah, but that's because we're Americans. We don't bother learning other languages. Why don't we travel?
America.
Yeah. All right. Well, I censored you. Didn't. So, anyways, yeah, great movie. Highly recommended. And had a great hour 48 minutes. It didn't even feel like that long, honestly.
Yeah, we are a day late with our upload, which we had some personal stuff, but
yeah, you're moving right now. I think they understand. They'll give us some grace.
And also, if you guys want to
that we all get emails. Fuck you!
If you guys want to finish out July with something very, very stupid, watch America the Movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
I only watched the trailer. Was like, I am not gonna watch this till the end of July.
Oh, did you all just stay in the? Did you all come here in the same car? What the fuck is a car?
Yeah,
Favorite line.
And it got the same ratings I would expect it to. Not that I think they were really trying to get a high rating.
Is it like Hoops for you, where you're like, it's undeserving of the hate it's getting?
I have not watched it yet. I've only
okay.
seen the trailer, but it got the ratings I expected just from seeing the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But
in any case,
those First Love.
It was fantastic. Tune in next week. We'll be talking about the Taiwanese action film The Raid.
Oh, brutality.
Yes. I wish I could have been with you the first time you saw it, because I wanted to see your face about, I won't spoil, but Doorframe. But thank you all for listening. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Good to meet you. Anything you want to plug? Any projects or nah?
No.
Okay. Thanks for coming, everybody.
I'm trying to finish school right now. So.
Fair. Well, good luck to you at school. But anyway, thank you for listening on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you listen to us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm and keep the lights on. Right, Noah?
It does.
Anyway, he's been Noah Sweeto.
He's been Nathaniel Shoemaker.
This has been Film Nerds Hour. Bye.
So long.
All right. Did you want to just